Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at which free-to-play units are going to be worth your time investing in DBZ Dokkan Battle. Now I want to preface this by saying I won't be talking about the free-to-play Saiyan Saga team or the free-to-play Union Force team or the free-to-play Team Bardock team, as you should be getting all of those. Quite frankly, like if you are not grabbing those free-to-play teams, I can't really help you. We'll look at the rest through typing. So we'll look at the rest through like their individual typing. So we'll start with physical, move down, etc. But yeah, if you aren't already getting the Team Bardock or the Ginyu team, or the Saiyan Saga team, the starting Greatest Warrior team that you've basically given through the tutorial, then I can't help you. And so I won't mention those units, or at least I'll try not to, because I think everyone should have them. So I don't really want to mention them for that reason. Now, let's talk about the physical units, and let's talk about who you should focus on, and talk a little bit about how to get them, etc. So the first unit we'll talk about is Bio Burly. He's a prime battle unit, but a pretty easy one to get with how high his boosted rates and things are. Look, overall, he's solid. Obviously, he's tied more to a specific category, but he's still really, really good. Even with that, and he's someone that's quite usable. And then we have the Boo and Bubbly, also a really good unit. A unit that functionally, for me, does a great job, because where they really shine for me is in that they basically are great in SBR, ESBR type of situations, which I think is good. Then we have the physical hit, a bit of a more recent addition, but actually honestly a really reliable unit that at least for me I could rely on using for the most part for a lot of content. And I think that's something that was really, really good of them. Beerus, also really solid. I would say, obviously from a defensive standpoint, not able to do like all the content and stuff like that, but a good unit nonetheless that functionally does everything you want them to do, whilst not really letting you down in any way, shape or form. Yeah, that's really probably what I would say, at least functionally speaking. Krillin, great unit. Primal unit, again, relatively simple to get, but his AoE super attacks are clutch in so many events, whether it's a World Tournament or it is a World Tournament or ESBR, SBR. And although obviously I don't want to mention the units and all that, even if you're a veteran returning player, you should be getting this Goku. Like, you shouldn't be getting the Greatest Warrior Goku. He is an absolute beast. He is so good. And yeah, I think he's really great, and someone that does so much spectacular work for the team. So yeah, realistically speaking, that's it for the physical side of things. I think they're all really good units that are all incredibly usable, and I think you can definitely find a ton of appeal in them without necessarily having any major issues. On the strength side, I think this unit is a little bit of a cheaper, not so great version of Bio Burly. He's okay, but I don't think he's worth the investment. The same with Mecha Frieza and King Cold. They're okay, but they're not worth the investment of battlefield currency that you have to give up to have them. And I think that's something important to understand. This Devilman is a cool free-to-play unit you can grab. Obviously, incredibly limited category-wise, but you can have some really fun times with it. Like, you can have some really cool, fun times with, like that unit. The Vegito, cool. I think that's all I can really say. A cool functional unit that really is great to have as a lead. He helps out with a ton of events. Just one of those cool units in that way. And then of course we have the B-Pan, also really helpful. a great unit as well, one I really like, and who's helped me in a ton of content. The Trunks and the Trunks and Bulma are not anything major, I would say, at least for me. How can I say, not a unit that I would necessarily go insane for. But yeah, that's really, kind of where I stand on that one. Then, aside from that, all things considered, I'd probably say strength is one of the categories where the free-to-play options are okay, both on the extreme and on the super side. However, I do think this Videl is probably the pick of the bunch. She actually can really act as a pseudo tank due to how her evasion stacks and everything works, and I think that's something really cool, because I think that's something so pivotal towards her being like a successful unit. So strength had a bit more of a limited roster, but still has its still has its strengths, its like high levels of performance that I think are really good. So yeah, good stuff. Now, of course, we move on to like the tech, or the inside of things with Babidi, and I think Babidi is one of those units that's really good. His utility is great. He's really strong with the sealing and the stunning and everything, and the support that he provides. Also, fairly easy to get. Comes from that Martian Vegeta event, so super easy to get actually. The Super Strike Android 16, also equally a really good unit. So I think for me, all of those units are at the point where they are functionally really good. Then we have this Goten and Icarus and the Goku and Icarus, the two Icarus style free-to-play units, and these ones for me are actually quite interesting because both of them work really nicely in tandem with each other, to the point where they are actually quite exciting to run, and it leaves me very excited for their eventual EZAs. Both are actually very easy to get, coming from April Fool's Story style events, so you can very easily use them without having any major problems. So yeah, honestly, both of them as a tandem are really cool and really good, so I was very happy with that. And you should definitely pick them up. Their eventual ECA will be useful. They're on a decent chunk of categories, and they work really nicely together, which is always good for players to have, at least from my perspective. But hey, what can I say? I like collecting free-to-play units and using them a lot, so I can't really say too much. Then we have this Goku, who I kind of want to mention as an honorable mention, because he simply is just very reliable. He's got a high level of damage reduction, he's got that evasion mechanics, got a lot going on, and I think it helps out a lot. Very good situational unit that does a lot of great work. The Extreme Prime Battle First Form Cell, really good still. More like an Ultimate Clash unit nowadays, but the attack lowering, the defense lowering, the health recovery are actually very crucial mechanics to trying to, use him as a unit. So yeah, that's important. Bio Broly, also very easy to get, very good, kind of a lesser version of the physical Bio Broly, but still really quite useful. And the Paragus is really cool, but he's only really able to run fully on a pure Saiyans team with Broly, which is the only real shame that they just keep denying him that movie master status, which would completely change how we would look at Paragus as like units. I think you'd find the movie bosses team would be insane to run if that was the case, just because of the strength of those units. The Super Tech Goku, Krillin and Bulma, really good. I like them a lot, and for a free-to-play they're great. They have a lot of really useful active skills as well, so I for one find them to be incredibly reliable units that can do a lot of good work. without needing too much requirements. And again, very easy to get, 3 DB stories in a row, nothing too wild, very simple, and that makes it usable. And the same for Brilliant Trunks, story, farm, some resources, bing bang bosh, easy to get. The Super Easy 8 Goku Prime Battle, probably not easy to get, I guess, by new player estimates, but also still quite reliable. Again, a good unit, worth the effort, I would say. So if you can, try your best, because I do think, worth the effort entirely. But just gonna depend on your views and everything, but I think definitely usable. Oolong and Launch, look, a good EZA, very limited in terms of categories, but easy to get. And again, super useful, like a very useful niche unit. Then you get the good old Mr. Jackie Chun, very good unit as well, especially with that Goku Bulma Krillin unit. They pair up quite nicely. On the AGL side of things, Baudi and Deborah, probably one of the few Battlefield currency units that are really worth it. Pair up really nicely with that free-to-play Prime Battle Babdi, so that all works out really, really nicely. And they make a great pairing for SBR and things like that. So I would suggest that you do that as much as you can. Then the AGL Vegeta, so the Vegeta Scouter, really good, really, really good. And I think he's a great free-to-play unit that does a ton of damage when needed. It's a good nuking unit to have, a good high damage volume dealer to kind of have around. Then this AGL Hellfighter 17, I wouldn't suggest getting him actually. He's not impossible to get, he's actually quite easy to get, but until GT bosses get some buffs, I wouldn't really consider getting him, although he does have pretty cool passive overall. So I think on the AGL side, things are, very interesting, I would say. Don't think there's a huge array of selection, actually. I think the AGL side of free-to-play units isn't the most devastating compared to some of the other categories, especially on the super side of things, and even on the extreme side. It's just not super menacing. Honorable mention to Bardock, because I do think Bardock is really good, and also he will potentially become an LR, so it is something you probably want to take a look at least functionally. But I would say aside from that, realistically, that is probably where I would stay with it. Frieza and Cooler are kind of the same as well. But those are kind of the units I would highlight. Like, if you got these free-to-play units, I think you probably have the best of the bunch, and they're probably the ones that are most usable. They're good in a lot of content, they are viable in a lot of content, they are really, really good. So I would say that's it for the units. Maybe like this Bond Parent and Child Goku, I mean, he's pretty good. I wouldn't say he's insane, but he's pretty good, he's really useful. I think that's really about it. So let me know what you guys think. Overall, what free-to-play units do you use? Do you use free-to-play units? And do you give them hidden potential system? Do you not? What do you do to make the free-to-play units really shine? I think that's something that's always super interesting to me, because I use them a ton and I enjoy using them, rainbowing them, adding them to my collection, seeing how good they are, and I think they're doing well to keep them just below the super competitive levels. So they're at a good, decent level. A lot of them can be used to clear all the content quite easily. They keep them just below that kind of summonable-esque level. But there's still some really cool hidden gems in the free-to-play section that I really hope you go out and enjoy using, because I find them useful to use. But that's pretty much it from me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And as always, thank you guys for watching. I will see you in the next one. So until then, as always, thank you guys so much. And the last honorable mention, Grades Airman 1 and 2, because they really are a great support.